What's up guys, my name is Zarick, welcome to the video, and today I have an interview for you guys. We interview Atwood. If you are already fans of Atwood, then welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy. If you do enjoy, leave a like and subscribe. We do interview stuff like this all the time. He's a really talented artist on SoundCloud, rapper with over 1,000 followers, thousands of views, but what really matters is what we talk about in our interview. He talks about his new album that is coming out on May 5th. He talks about some of the songs that you can expect and the type of music you can expect to hear on that. He talks about the meaning behind his name, where it came from, how he got to be a part of the group off the jump, and meeting people online and even through subreddits. So we had a really interesting conversation. We hope you like it, and let's get to the video. Well, Atwood, have you gotten to listen to it? Do you have any thoughts or opinions on the song yet?
I like it a lot. I specifically like the first beat a lot because I really like just funky, kind of soulful shit, and that hit it perfect. And then, I don't know, other than hoping that he drops something April 7th, because he said it at the end of the verse, so I'm hoping something comes off of that. I don't know. After I heard that, though, I went back and listened to Good Kid, Mad City last night while I was driving around. And it's like, I haven't heard this in a minute.
Yeah. Is that your favorite Kendrick album?
Well, see, it's weird because I feel like I enjoy listening to Good Kid, Mad City more, but I'd still put To Pimp a Butterfly above it in terms of, I guess a piece of art. I can appreciate To Pimp a Butterfly more, but I rather just loosely listen to Good Kid, Mad City.
I feel you.
I'm the same way.
I feel you. Yeah.
I feel like Mad City is more accessible, whereas To Pimp a Butterfly is that. It's like that movie that you saw that was absolutely amazing, but you don't just throw it on and just have it going in the background or anything.
It's an experience.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a piece of art, and it's kind of something to be sat down and savored, rather than Mad City's just you just throw it on and you enjoy it instantly. Any song.
And going back to April 7th, I'm it's hard for me to get my hopes up now because even if you look at, remember when J. Cole jumped on All Right, I think, and he was this February bet shit gets scary when I fuck around and drop, and then nothing came out at all for a year.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's damn.
It's hard to get your hopes
you gotta
up
keep.
You
gotta keep to your promise.
Until it happens. But I guess we'll see. It's 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's super soon, and that's the first song he put out since Untitled and Mastered.
Yeah. So I feel that he's at least at the point where he can just be I'm releasing an album in half a month, and everyone's gonna be oh, okay, we're on it.
Yeah.
We don't need
Beyonce.
any time. Yeah.
Beyonce just drops it the day of, and it still goes number one.
Superstars, it's wild.
So speaking of albums, do you want to talk a little bit about your album and what you have coming out?
Yeah, I've got it's I'd say it's a short 4-track EP, but it's as long as my previous EP. Because one thing, a bunch of people wanted longer tracks, so I made all these tracks 4 to 5 minutes long. So it's around 17 to 20 minutes, and it's really just a project I've worked on side of because it's over mainly trap beats produced by a guy named Mira, and I normally don't rap over trap beats, so it's a little out of my style. So it's just shit I've been working on in the past time that I've been hype about. Just want to release something different and just release something for people that have been waiting while I'm still just vaulting all these other songs that I've been working on. But I'm pretty excited about that. I've got some really good features. I've got a track with Tiago and Zion, and those are some of my favorite SoundCloud rappers, to be honest, and they fucking killed it. I hope you don't mind. Do you mind if I cuss? I've got
you're good.
A potty mouth.
No,
no worries, you're good.
Just checking.
You're fine. I'm excited for Tiago too. I say it all the time. Tiago is the reason why I started getting into SoundCloud rap.
Tiago is nuts. I love him.
It's exciting.
Me and Samson went and met him in North Carolina recently. He was doing a rap battle live, and Samson drove up to North Carolina, and I flew out to North Carolina, and we got to meet him and hang out with him for a couple of days. It was amazing.
I knew Samson went. I didn't know you went. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then I rode back to New York with Samson and just stayed with him for a week.
So with you and Samson, how did that relationship start? Did it start over SoundCloud?
No, it all kind of started on this subreddit. Like everyone in OTJ was basically on this subreddit together. And we just it was just this place to start out making hip hop and just kind of get a hang of the ropes and then move on from there. And we like developed a group chat through people and rappers we knew through the subreddit. And we would just talk daily in this group chat, just not even really about maybe making music as much as just shooting shit. And then one day Samson was like, "Can I come to Texas for spring break?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Like, you have a place to stay." And he came out to Texas and hung out with me and Tochi. And then since then we just go back and forth between Texas and New York. Like, me and Tochi went and stayed with him for 2 weeks with 3 other people that flew in from like LA and Boston. And I don't know, we just travel a lot and we try to hang out with each other as much as we can. It's pretty great though. It's a cool connection. I've met a decent amount of people from the internet and just went and met up just cause.
Wow.
That's cool. Do you ever feel like it's hard to maintain like relationships with those people because of the distance and having to contact through internet?
It can be, but like it just depends. Like, I had a friend I played on Xbox with since I was like 12, and when I graduated high school, I went and flew out to Canada and stayed with him for a week. But like, I don't know, being in like a group chat with all the OTJ guys, even though we're not close, we still talk every day. So the connection, like, it doesn't have time to diminish really. And like, we've all seen each other face to face. So, I mean, we're all like really good friends.
So you're from Mesquite, Texas? Is that where you were like born?
Yeah, I was born in Mesquite. I lived there until 6th grade, and I finished like elementary school. And then for middle school, we moved to Houston so we could be closer to my like mom's family and stuff. And I've just been here since then.
Okay, and how do you like it there? I've talked to you a little bit about it earlier. I've been to Texas once, but how do you like it as being a native from Texas?
Well, honestly, I like both of the places a lot, but really all it comes down to is where I live. We live like 5 minutes away from the Gulf, and it's just like humid and sticky outside. And I honestly just hate that. But Dallas is like beautiful. It's always dry. And it's like, it's much easier to deal with 100-degree heat when it's dry outside than when it's just like soaking down on you. That's really the only complaint. I love both of the places though. They're both my homes.
So then how did you get involved in hip hop being out from Texas where you don't really think about, I mean, I guess you do actually, I'm tripping. Houston has a crazy hip hop scene, or it did in the 2000s. So I guess it did, but what got you into that? What influenced you?
I mean, when I was like young, it's weird, but my mom like fucked with like crunk music, and she like Lil Jon. She liked the Ying Yang Twins and like 3 6 Mafia, which is ridiculous because she's like
funny.
Like 5'2". She's my mom. It's hilarious seeing And my dad always listened to like rock type stuff. So I don't know, like for like a couple years I listened to rock, and then when around 7th grade I started listening to hip hop again, and my friend like introduced me to Eminem and stuff like that, and I hopped on like Childish Gambino and Ab-Soul and Mac Miller and just kind of slowly developed artists I really liked and listened to. And then I mean, I think like junior year of high school, I was taking Tochi home, or we were going back to my house, and he just put on a beat and was like, freestyle. I was like, I don't know about that. Like, I've never done that. I'm really not trying to, but he convinced me and I did. And then I went home that day and like wrote 3 tracks. And ever since then I've just been writing, and I've loved it.
Really? So how did that first freestyle go?
I can't even imagine. It was probably so rough. Like, I listened to my old shit and just, my voice has changed so much since then. Just learning how to use it, how I'd like to, and in different ways. It's really rough listening to my old stuff. Some people really like it though, but it's myself, so I can really get down and dirty with what I think is wrong about it.
Mm-hmm. Is SoundCloud where your oldest music is? Because I went through it and I think you only have like up to a year ago.
Well, yeah, no, SoundCloud's not. I've got a Bandcamp under my like old artist name.
Uh-huh.
I've went through 3. I'll only go through 2 though. Like my one before Atwood was just my initials, which is ADP, and I was just kind of like, after having it for so long, it was okay, but I was like, this is not what I want to be known as. It's just an acronym. I need something that better like encapsulates what I might be. And then I stumbled across the name Atwood once, and I knew I wanted to at least keep it with the letter A because my name's Austin. But I saw it and I was like, I think that's it. And I like PM Samsa, and he was like, holy. And he's like, that's the one. And we were just all set on it. Yeah, I don't know. It just came to fruition really well. And then I like changed my name along with dropping the Outside EP, and it was just really smooth and it felt right. It was good.
Is there any meaning behind the name Atwood, or where did you find that from?
I mean, there's not really deep meaning, to be honest, but it just, I think very much when I hear it and what I think about when I say it, it kind of creates an image in my head and a sound that I think like resembles what I was doing at the time and what I still am really well. I just knew I wanted something that had a little more feeling to it than ADP, because to me ADP was just a kid that was rapping on beats. But now I feel like I'm really making music, and it's just more comfortable under that name. But like there's, at the end of the day, there's not really a deeper meaning to it. It's just what I felt fit the music the best.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Hidden Excellence for a little bit? I think that's my favorite project that you've put out so far.
People say that, and that's wild.
Yeah. Like, the beats you used were really cool, and the BSD.U, I don't know if that's how you say his name, if you just say it that way.
Yeah.
I know the Note I track was from Hoodie Weather, and I had that on my SoundCloud for like a year or so before I heard you rap over it, and so I was like freaking out for a second.
Yeah.
But I listened to that whole tape, and that's definitely like my favorite project you've put out.
I mean,
and were you Atwood when that came out?
No, I was still ADP, but like that was, I had just recently started college, and like it was weird. I just had a really huge lapse in writing and creativity, and it was rough. And I would write, but I wouldn't really finish what I was writing, and I'd just fill up my notepad with like 4-bar to 8-bar things, and then I'd try to go back to my dorm and like record and stuff, and I just never really liked what I was listening to, and I was just like, I'm making bad music, it's all bad. And I wrote this, I was listening to Milo a lot at the time, and I wrote the song Vision 1 over this beat by Sailor and a guy named Jeps. And I remember going home and recording it, and I got it mixed, which is one thing I didn't do, which I probably should have done, because listening to your raw vocals over a track rather than mixed vocals like is a world of difference. But I got it mixed, and then when I made that track, I was like, I can make this into a project if I just kind of keep this whole theme going. Because I even say Hidden Excellence in Vision, and I just kind of had this idea of like growth at the time, because I was very much still growing, like just changing from high school to college and taking on that responsibility like 5 hours away from home. And I just wasn't sure what was going on, and it was just a good way to kind of talk to myself in a way and help me through that. And I mean, I was really big into lo-fi at that time, a little less now. I still plan on making more Hidden Excellences because it is volume 1, but it's just finding the right beats, because that's really all it comes down to. I've got a couple tracks for it already, but it's hard to find the right lo-fi beat that hits the way I want it to go towards something like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people like Hidden Excellence, which I think is crazy, because like I'm always so unsure of myself when I release a project. I don't know if it's going to be good or if it's bad. Like before I released Outside, I was like talking to the guy who mixed it, and I was like, what if this is trash though? I was like, what if? And he was like, then we just push it like it's gold. And I was like, all right, that's fair.
It's a good
and we did, and
say.
I mean, it did well in terms of, or in respect to like past things I had done.
Are you more excited about your EP coming out now? Like, do you feel that it's going to be what you want it to be when it's finished? I know Samsa was praising it pretty highly, and he's really excited for you as well.
Yeah, so that always feels good. That kind of reassurance helps a lot too, because like Samsa being who he is, like whenever he really gets hype over my shit, I'm like, this must be something. This must be good. But he loves the track with Tiago. Like, he fucking loves it. But I mean, I'm pretty confident with what I've made. I'm pretty excited to release it, and then not only that, but get onto the music I'm releasing afterwards, because I've got some shit I'm sitting on right now that I'm super hype about. And I've never been able to say that because I always make a track and I'm like, release it, get it out.
So what does your writing process look like when you start making projects? Do you get the beats first before you write? Do you write before the beats? What happens?
A lot of the time it really just comes from, like, with Hidden Excellence, I made the song Vision, and I was like, I should make a project around this. And that's what I did. And then, but instead of Outside, I was supposed to be making this project called She Knew My Name, which I'm still working on, but I had like a little anxiety attack when I was making it, and I was like, this can be so much better than the time limit I have to make it. And I wrote a song called Outside around that time, and I was like, I could make something around this. And then from there, it's just getting that like concept idea or like vibe that I want to encapsulate with that project. And once I have something that's really solidified, I'm like, I can build around that. And that's basically what I do. And then I go hunt for beats, or maybe one track I write, I'm like, that would be good for this project. And I toss it in that little pool and see, and just kind of build from there until I feel like it's done.
Do you have like multiple like projects, and then you make a song and you're like, let me put it in this one, or put it in this one, or put it in this one?
Yeah, I mean, normally I've got a decent idea, because for the projects, the beats are pretty like vastly different in terms of the sound. Like, if I was making Hidden Excellence and Outside at the same time and I heard a certain beat, I'd know which project that belonged on, just from the way it sounded. But yeah, I mean, I've got projects that I bounce between back and forth, but recently I've just been working with producers and just have them like fully produced projects I've been working on. Like Pastime, it's all produced by one guy.
Do you ever run into problems working on two projects at once, or is it more freedom for you?
Well, yeah, I can definitely run into problems because my brain gets a little too scattered sometimes, and it's just kind of, I try to work on too much, and then I'm slacking on that other project. I'm bouncing back and forth with which one I'll think is going to come first. But I mean, for the most part, it kind of spaces it out more. So when I'm writing, maybe I get stuck on a beat I'm writing for this project, and I write like 2 bars and then get stuck, and I can just switch to another beat for another project and kind of go from there and see. But recently I've just been pumping out tracks like crazy, like just writing them in a day, which is not something I'm used to. Normally it takes like a week or two of just brainstorming and getting at exactly what I want. But now something's happened. I'm getting a little creative wave.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah, no kidding.
So when you were writing, I think you mentioned it was Voices 1.
Or Vision, yeah.
Or Vision. You mentioned that you went through like a time of just like writing 4 to 8 bars, and those didn't cut it. Like a writer's block type deal. Can you remember or identify what kind of brought you out of that?
Man, what brings me out of it is honestly sitting down for an hour and finding the next fucking bar that's going to be in that song. If I really give up, I just come back to it at another time, and maybe I'm feeling good that day and that bar just comes out and I thought of what I want to say. But sometimes it's just, I sit there and I replay the beat and re-rap what I've already written until I get to that bar that I don't know, and I try to figure it out, and I don't, and I replay, and I just keep doing it until I figure that bar out so I can move on. I never really try to just shove it out like, whatever, we'll just put that there for now and go back. I don't really revise a whole lot. I just make sure I have what I want the first time, for the most part. Sometimes I do, but it just depends.
Do you write on a notepad or like on your phone?
I started writing in like a journal, but eventually I changed it to my phone because it's a lot easier to hold a phone behind your mic if you need it.
Then like
and split pages.
Gosh dang it.
You got recordings with the page.
Yeah, it gets like the capture, picking up the pages.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. Like when I wrote with my phone, I would get distracted so easy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would get a
I'll group
notification,
chat.
or I remember I have to text someone something or whatever. Whereas like the journal is just like, it's kind of a way of disconnecting, but then you do have to like worry about like, yo, what up with the thing? You'd look ridiculous if anyone filmed you like recording the verse rather than like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, look at Cannabis. Did you ever see Cannabis in a rap battle with his notepad?
I have never seen.
And now that's
Cannabis.
like part of his legacy now.
Really?
He's like during a rap battle, just pulls out a notepad and starts reading it off.
Really?
And he was so good before, but now it's just like kind of tarnished. I don't want to say tarnish him fully because
I want to see him like reading it like
he's
and like
reading
he
a
like
poem.
he like touches his thing and like that'd be funny. That'd be funny as hell.
The one thing I do like you mentioned listening to Milo, who I've listened to for a couple years, and I think out of like the last 3 people we've talked to, they've all listened to him, and it's funny because I don't know if it's where I'm from or what, but I haven't met anyone else who knows who he is at all here. So it's so cool to be able to hear you say that and be like, oh wow, someone else knows who Milo is.
I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I'll just say because when I first heard Samsa, and I've said this before, like that's who he reminded me of, just like the kind of talk rap and just how they sounded. So it's cool that there's other people who actually know who he is, and he's big. But it may just be where I'm from that people don't know him that well, or I'm just not meeting the right people. But
I mean, I honestly don't meet a lot of people that know Milo.
yeah.
Like I would never have known about Milo, but one of my friends in college like went through one of the Needle Drop videos, and he put one of Milo's albums in like a must listen to category. He was like, you should check this guy out, he's pretty good. And he showed me the song An Encyclopedia by him, and I was like, oh shit, all right,
I love
I'm
that song.
gonna get down and dirty. And I just started listening to him, and I want to say I showed Samson Milo, but I don't want to say it in case I didn't. But like, I don't know, when I hear someone that I'm just like, this guy is fucking dope, I'm just like, I start sending their music to all my group chats, and I'm like, listen, understand why this guy is dope. And I just get really hype about it. Like, I have different artists here and there that will influence me really heavily in certain things they do, and Milo was definitely one of them.
I think SoundCloud makes the internet like a smaller place, because you mentioned like the beat with the OB whatever or something on his album. What beat was that? Whatever, just
Hoodie Weather.
The BSD.U.
The Hoodie Weather beat, and we had that like on our like study playlists or like chill vibes playlist from like a year ago. And I remember when we were talking to Atlas, I went on my likes, and because his voice sounded so familiar that I had already liked like 3 of his songs from like a year and a half ago. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
So it's a small world when you're on SoundCloud.
Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah, it really is. It's wild. There's like there's really communities where you just kind of see a circle that's created in different areas of SoundCloud.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with lo-fi.
Sorry. Yeah. If we go back to Needle Drop for a second, do you actually watch him like that, or do you like? Because I used to watch him, and I like what he has to say sometimes, but I actually listened to an interview with Milo in it, and Milo really like gave him praise for what he said about his first album. But then when Milo dropped the second album, I guess the second album, the Needle Drop at least reviewed. The Needle Drop didn't give it a great review, but the reasons he said, Milo was like, bro, like you didn't even listen to what I was trying to do there, and he got it was kind of like this thing where he didn't think Needle Drop actually even got what the concept was. So when you yourself get criticism or anything, praise or whatever from your albums, do you take it with like a grain of salt, or is it a good thing that you like to take, or how do you feel about it?
I take it with a grain of salt. Like, it depends on what's being told, though, because certain things, it's like someone will be like, I didn't like the beats, and I'm just kind of like, well, I did, sorry. But like a lot of people were like, one thing about Outside, it needs to be longer, like I just want to hear more of you. And I take that. That's probably the biggest piece of feedback that I've like fed off of and really tried to do, because it's a valid point. Like, my songs need to be longer, so I work really hard to make them longer for people. But like overall, I feel like I'm pretty decent at like analyzing myself and what I may or may not be doing right. And I trust my taste for the most part. to lead me in the right way with like progression and what I'm doing and what I could be doing.
Did you ever worry about the length before? Like, was it just the instrumentals you got were short, so you made the song short, or was there like a purpose of you doing that?
It was a mix. Certain songs I've made short because I wanted to make short, and I was like, I want this song is complete. Like, it'll be a minute long. Like, I have a song called Schmeckles, and that's exactly how long I wanted that song to be, and that's exactly what I want that song to be. But then there's ones where maybe the beat is too short, and I'm like, with Hidden Excellence, I was having a lot of problem writing second verses. Like Hidden Excellence and Outside both, I was having a lot of trouble pumping out a second verse because I had done like ciphers a lot, and it kind of got me into a mind state of saying everything I needed to do in 16 bars, and it helped me learn to rap, but in the long run, when it came to making songs, it kind of stopped me there because I was like, shit, now what do I do for the second verse? And I just would have really bad blocks, so I was like, I'll just not make a second verse. But I've since gotten past that.
Sometimes I want to make a beat, or I want to make a song longer because of the beat itself. It's like, how can this beat like not be like a 3-minute song? Because it's like, well, you have this amazing beat, and it's just like, I wish you could like hear more of it. But do you ever think about how people listen to your music? Because maybe it's just your audiences, they prefer to kind of sit with a song for 4 or 5 minutes rather than someone else's audience would rather just have it in like 2 minutes or something quick. And I
mean, that's an interesting question. I try to think of my music from an outside perspective a lot because you kind of have to, because you can get trapped in your head so much. But like, I've never been like, I don't know, I think they're wrong about it being short. Because when people told me that, as much as I was like, yes, you're like the 20th person now, I was still like, you're right. Like, I completely agree. My songs need to be, most of the time, at least breaking 3 minutes. But then there are tracks that are exceptions where it's like, that's how long that song, I think, should be. And I think, for the most part, fans will understand that. But sometimes it just leaves them wanting more. There's always so many different opinions and ways people look at things, so it's hard to gauge it all.
Well, I feel like that's the best criticism you can get for an album is like,
it was good.
The one thing I don't like is that they need to be longer. I want to hear you more. If you could do that next time. Like, it's not like, hey, we hate your voice, can you please change it? It's like, can you make your songs a little longer?
They're not just like, hey, man, you really trashed that last time. I'd appreciate it if you could step it up a bit.
You just change your whole name, your whole sound, your genres.
But it's I want to hear you a little bit more.
Yeah,
that's the only problem I'd give you.
So that's a compliment almost in itself, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely didn't make me feel bad. So I was happy for that.
Yeah. So what is one artist or thing that you listen to that nobody would really expect that you listen to? I'm kind of curious.
That's really hard. I'd have to really think about that. I mean, I really mainly listen to hip hop, to be honest, but like my favorite artists are people like Anderson .Paak, which I guess he's pretty commercial in a sense now, and I don't think that'd be too surprising, but like that Anderson .Paak, like Malibu, is very much a vibe that I want to be able to capture with my stuff. Just that whole soulful, funky, like it makes you want to bounce with it. That's like a really heavy thing I try to focus on with my music.
When he doesn't sound like anybody either. Like, I mean, get
Anderson
that.
.Paak's incredible.
Yeah, and Malibu was my favorite album of 2016, so I understand.
I mean, yeah, him and like, I don't know, Childish Gambino is one of my favorite artists. That I've been listening to him since I was like 13, so that's like 8 years now.
Jeez.
And it's crazy. He just always makes something different and something that I'm like, the fact that there's a vast difference in each of his albums is another thing that I'm like, I try to take after, because I feel like if I were to just make 4 projects that was me rapping the same over the same kind of beats, it's like, why don't I listen to the first one of these projects? It's like, I gotta be bringing something new to the table.
Is that something that is inspiring you to take on some of these more trap sounding beats in your new album?
Well, a little bit, but it's also like sometimes it's just fun to like spaz and just go hard on beats. And
Yeah.
I don't rap over trap a lot, but some of those beats I hear and I'm just like, ugh, like I fucking need to kill this. I want to get on that. And then, I mean, I just do it. But yeah, I mean, definitely that's one of the reasons I made it, because it's different. And I like, I guess, keeping fans on their toes. I don't want to be predictable.
So were you a fan of Childish's new album?
Oh yeah. I'm just a fan of Donald Glover / Childish Gambino in general. Like, I really liked Awaken My Love. I like bought the limited edition virtual reality vinyl for it and shit.
Virtual reality.
Yeah, it comes with a virtual reality headset.
That's really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's
and like
interesting.
footage from the show he did in, what is it, Joshua Tree, I think.
Yeah, when it was like in the yeah.
It comes with footage of that, like you're in the front row on the virtual reality headset. So I was like, yeah, because there's no footage of that show. There was like no phones allowed at that show or whatever. They were all deactivated, and I'm like, it's pretty cool.
Set off an EMP. To
I wish I would
everyone's
have went.
phones.
It wasn't that far. It wasn't that far from us.
I wanted to
Kinda
go
far,
so
but-
bad. I still haven't seen him live, and I like kick myself in the head every day because of it. Because I never know.
It sounds like a
when he's
difficult
gonna
thing to
go.
do. So
Yeah.
Were you there before the whole Freaks and Geeks like party that got behind him? Like, I think that was like that campfire was like the big thing that got him big.
Mhm.
Were you there
Yeah,
before
I mean,
that?
I was probably a part of that bandwagon. My Xbox friend from Canada was like, you need to listen to this guy. His name's Childish Gambino, and he showed me a song, and I was like, his voice is annoying. And then, but he told me to watch the show Community as well, which
Yeah.
Donald Glover's in, and I like became a huge fan of that show. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give him another chance, and I saw Freaks and Geeks on YouTube, and I was like, this is amazing. And then I just kind of fell in love with that song and him from then.
Did you ever go back and listen to Cul-de-sac?
Oh yeah, I've listened to
And that album?
Poindexter's,
Yeah.
Sick Boy. I've listened to it all. I've dug through his discography. Even his like MC DJ shit when it's like 100-track playlist of beats and stuff he made. It's just, yeah, it's like super old. I guess him coming up really back when he rapped real nasally and stuff.
I didn't even know he had those. The 100.
No,
track playlist.
yeah, it was some digging. I like when I really like an artist, I'm like, I need to hear everything they've done.
I understand. That's funny.
what kind of trap can we expect to hear on your album? Like, what type of vibe are you trying to capture with it?
I mean, there's two like kind of calm, chill tracks, and then there's just two kind of like banger, aggressive, like shit talking type tracks. There's two calm ones that are just kind of nice and easy to listen to and vibe with. And there are two that'll make you want to like punch shit.